This summer of 2025, in terms of the lineup for movies, it's been the best summer that we've had in a while. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but for me at least, I've been to the movies way more this summer than I have probably combined for the last 4 years. It was just movie after movie after movie that I wanted to actually go and watch in the theaters. It's incredible, just having that feeling of, hey, I've got another weekend coming up, and there's another movie coming out. There was one span where it was 3, maybe 4 weekends in a row where I was at the movie theater every single weekend. And that had not happened to me, I don't think, ever in my entire life. But this summer, it did. And I don't think it was just me. I think, especially this year, the environment of movie theaters has risen to what it used to be before COVID. And that is a wonderful thing to see. Starting out, we had the Minecraft movie. Although I didn't think this movie was a great movie in and of itself, the vibes of being at the theater and wanting to be a part of the experience of this movie was just unreal compared to any other movie that has come out in the last few years. This really ignited the flame of this summer. We had we had the memes, we had the TikTok videos, we had kids getting kicked out of the theater, and although that's not great for maybe the staff of the movie theaters who has to clean up all of this, in terms of actually getting people's asses into seats in the movie theater, this worked, especially within that teenager range. Not only teenagers, but especially them. It's hard to get them to think something is cool, to get them to go to stuff. This was one of those things where they just wanted to go because of the experience. And because of that, it ended up making a ton of money. Then we had Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers. And although some people don't like this movie, I enjoyed it. Technically, this was a flop in terms of the money that it made, but in my personal opinion, I think it was a step in the right direction. I thought its main problem was the Marvel fatigue. We had a couple years prior to this where anything that Marvel was releasing was mediocre or even less than that. And people just got tired of watching bad Marvel movies, and because of that, the box office numbers for this one struggled. However, the theme of the movie and the movie in general resonated with a lot of people. That's why I think it contributed significantly to this list of summer 2025 movies. Also, we got to see Bucky again, which is always a plus. And Florence Pugh. And of course, they introduced the character of Sentry, which we will see what they do with him. Going back onto the theme of getting people into the theaters and the environment surrounding a movie being in theaters was Revenge of the Sith. I know for me, this reignited my passion, my love for Star Wars, and I was excited 2-3 weeks, a month in advance to this re-releasing in the theaters. It had life. It had fire. It's a great movie, at least I think so, at least my generation thinks so, and we came out in droves to see it again. The love for Hayden Christensen was there. The love for the prequels was there. It proved that the love for Star Wars is still there, that the fans for real Star Wars, for good Star Wars, is still there, and they will come out for something that they love, that's good. It's a shame that Disney Star Wars had to go into the past 20 years to be able to pull that from the fans, that love from the fans, the hype for Star Wars again from the fans. But that's the way it is. They made a bunch of money off of that, even though it was a re-release. And I know for me, I had a hell of a time seeing it in the theaters. I know I was too young to see it in the theaters the first time. I was probably 4 years old. So being able to go and watch a movie that I love on the big screen again was a great experience, which for me contributed to that love for the movie theater experience just in general. Being around those who also love a movie, who also is hyped for a movie. And it was just great to see that for Star Wars again. And just that anticipation of going to the theater to see Star Wars again, seeing that title screen, the blaring trumpets, and the crawl. That was amazing to see again in the theaters. And of course, everyone loves Anakin, and we all wish that the outcome was different every single time. And this time, seeing it, even if it was in theaters, it was no different. The story continued as it always does, and Anakin fell to the dark side. But we still love him. After that came How to Train Your Dragon. For me, I'm biased on this movie because I love the cartoon. I love the music. That song that plays when Hiccup is first riding on Toothless, it's incredible. And I was so happy that they did a faithful one-to-one adaptation of the cartoon. That's all they needed to do for me, and I think a lot of other people shared that sentiment of it being accurate, of it looking like the cartoon, sounding like the cartoon, the characters relatively the same as the cartoon. They took a movie that people love and they just brought it to live action. Mason Thames, Nico Parker, all the actors and actresses who worked on it were incredible, and they did a great job. Outside of the movie itself, we also had that, not drama, but people shipping Nico and Mason, and I think that added to the hype of the movie, added to kind of that people thinking about it all the time, because you open up Instagram and you see Mason and Nico going to Epic Universe, going to this interview and that interview, and the chemistry that they had. Even though Mason has a girlfriend, people were shipping them too. And I think that just only added to the excitement, added to the interactivity of us as fans, as people on social media, to the actors, to the movie, getting people to talk about it again. And even though, yes, I think it was a staged, relationship, they were just faking this chemistry the whole time, I think it worked and got people talking and got people wanting to see this movie. If not for the original one, for that satisfaction of seeing Hiccup and Astrid together, aka Mason and Nico together. Next, another huge movie that took everyone by surprise, especially Sony. They got a terrible end of this deal because they thought it would be a flop and die in obscurity. We are talking about none other than KPop Demon Hunters, a movie that surprised the hell out of me and surprised the hell out of the world. They are the number 2 movie in Netflix history in terms of views, and rightfully so. In my opinion, it was one of the greatest cartoons in recent years. I loved Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I think that was the last one that I loved as much as I love K-Pop Demon Hunters. As much as that hurts me to say. But it was a good movie. It had fantastic music. It's got people talking. It's got people singing. The waves that it had on the internet is just insane. And now they're releasing it to the theaters for one weekend. 2 days. They've got some sing-along thing going on for it. And good for them. It sucks that Sony lost out on this deal, but they made a masterpiece, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming. I know I've said this before. I think the title hurt it, especially for people like me, dudes. They're not going to watch that. Not really, unless someone's forcing them to watch it. But I gave it a chance. I saw it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I think it contributed immensely to this summer 2025 movie list. Getting people hyped about movies, talking about movies, and in this case, singing. Now, before we get to the juggernauts of the summer, the highly anticipated movies of the summer, well, 2 of the most highly anticipated movies of the summer, why did I say it like that? Of the summer, we've got a few honorable mentions. 3 of them, Sinners, the vampire movie with Haley Steinfeld, Michael B. Jordan. We had Jurassic World, yes, more dinosaurs, and dun 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 Mission Impossible. I didn't see those movies, but I think they contributed, at least meaningfully, to this movie list of the summer. Sinners especially. I heard great things from that, and I still haven't seen it. I know it's terrible. I want to, and I have to. And then I'll also add, this is a movie that I did watch. It's another Netflix movie, Happy Gilmore 2. Although it's not high up there in terms of influence for this summer, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was a cool blast from the past, getting Adam Sandler and the rest of them into a movie again, into a comedy again, and it was cool to see. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I had a few laughs, but it's only honorable mention because it wasn't that significant in terms of what really ran this summer. Now, on to the last two. First being Superman, the movie that gave people hope again. People were waiting on the edge of their seats for this because it is the reboot of the DC movie universes, with James Gunn at the helm. I thought it was good enough. It did what it needed to do. It was a good movie. I had fun watching it, and I especially had fun after the fact. It gave people hope to be a better person. It gave people joy that I haven't seen in a while, especially coming from a movie. It got people talking, especially about the content of the movie, the characters, the storyline, the choices that were made. It got them talking about those sorts of things instead of just bashing a movie because it's woke, bashing a movie because of the politics, this or that or the other. The conversation was centered around the movie itself, like it's supposed to be. And I thought that reignited the fan base of not only DC, but superheroes in general, and hopefully will start to get us out of this slump of just sludge coming out of superhero movies. It was great. David Cornsweet is a great Superman. What's his face? Great Lex Luthor. It was fantastic. And the edits on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts of this Superman made me happy. I'll just say that. Anytime I saw one, it put a smile on my face. And it made me like the character of Superman more than I have in the past. That's another thing that came up. The debates between Snyderverse fans and this new Superman. And then, of course, we got all the memes about Henry Cavill, which I love, by the way. He's a great actor. His version of Superman, constantly aura farming, which I get a good laugh at, or did, when all those were coming out. Because it's true. Dude is just standing there, like, trying to look as good as possible the whole time, as opposed to saving people. But that's another conversation for another time. It was still a great movie, and it brought hope to the people. Lastly, to kind of wrap up this summer of 2025 movies, was of course the MCU's Fantastic Four. Now, I enjoyed this movie as well, not as much as I enjoyed Superman, but that's a debate for another time. I talk about it in a previous video. I will say, though, the vibes of this were there. The new, fresh start, kind of, soft reboot, especially for the characters of the Fantastic Four, was there. It was good. I loved Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. I thought he did great. I loved The Thing. I forget his actual name. I thought they did the best. And then, of course, we had Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal. They all did decent. They were good. It was a relatively good story. It had a different vibe compared to the MCU that we know and love. This was more the Jetsons, futuristic / retro combined sort of technology. I liked that. I thought it was great. And of course, I'm like Johnny. I love space, and this had an emphasis on space travel. Johnny loving space. I thought that was a cool touch. I don't know. And then, of course, that will lead into Doomsday, as we all know. But that as well gave people good vibes. They were happy. They were like, maybe not for me as much as Superman in terms of like the hope and that sort of thing, but it was still a fun time to go and see it. That being said, just the lineup of movies this summer was crazy. It was fun. It made me enjoy going to the movies and want to go to the movies, which hadn't happened to me in a long time, and I'm sure other people can relate to that as well. Is this enough to like restart the fire of theaters? I know COVID, I don't like talking about COVID as not like no one does. That almost killed movie theaters. In all honesty, could this be enough to get it up and going again? To get people in theaters again? Theaters making money again? I don't know. The thing is, we have to, not we, the people, the directors, the actors, Hollywood, have to keep pushing out good movies. Hopefully, this era of over-the-top wokeness has come to a close. I think it has. A lot of the movies this summer, they lacked that super wokeness to it, that trying to force an agenda into the movie. Obviously, there's a thing here or two where you're like, okay, I could relate that. It's kind of parallel to this person in today's history, or what's going on in these countries, or this or that. But overall, they stayed away from politics for the most part. Minecraft had nothing. It was just a mindless movie to have fun. Same with K-Pop Demon Hunters. Same, obviously, Thunderbolts had its issues, but it wasn't trying to push an agenda in it. It had a theme to it. Just like, okay, people are dealing with anxiety, depression, loneliness. Let's talk about that. So they did, without trying to mush in over-the-top wokeness into it, over-the-top gayness into it, where it didn't need to be. Yeah, Superman, Fantastic Four, everything. They all just kind of took a little step back. Now, hopefully they keep it that way. There's a time and place for that. Most of the time in the movie theaters is not that time or place. People want to watch movies to forget about real life, to forget about what they have going on in their lives, to shut their brain off and to just have fun, to enjoy it. And I feel like a lot of people forget that, especially critics, or people who overanalyze stuff. Like K-Pop Demon Hunters, they're like, oh my god, the pacing's off, the story's dumb, blah, 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 this, that, the other. It's like, sure, but at the end of the day, a movie is a movie and it's meant to entertain. I feel like these movies this summer did that. Allowed people to, hey, let me take these 2 hours to sit down and have a good time. To feel something, to feel hope from David Cornsweet. To feel that, oh, I'm not alone. I have people to talk to, from Thunderbolts. To sing a catchy song from K-Pop Demon Hunters, to recite memes from Minecraft, to ship the actors and actresses from How to Train Your Dragon. It was fun. And then on top of all that, we got some major announcements like the Spider-Man suit reveal, Tom Holland, and then the pictures coming out for that. That's been a fun thing to keep up on. And then we had the casting announcement of Link and Zelda for the upcoming Legend of Zelda movies. So we had a lot going on this summer. It was awesome. I had fun. And these past couple of weeks, nothing's been really going on. So I just took some time to reflect on like, wow, that really just happened. That, like, I've been to the theaters more times this summer than I have in the past 4 or 5 years. Like, what? It's crazy. Oh, and Father's Day weekend, they put Indiana Jones' Last Crusade on there, which is one of my favorite movies. So, of course, I went and watched it. It was just a fun summer. And looking back on it, I was like, wow, I wish more times like this happened. Kind of reminded me of 2019, 2018, when Infinity War and Endgame were coming out. and everyone was just talking about it. Everyone knew that they would be at the theater. We kind of got that with Spider-Man. What is it? No Way Home. We kind of got that, but I think that was the last time. We had Wolverine and Deadpool, but it made money. But in terms of me getting hyped for it, the only reason I went to it, probably for Wolverine, more than anything. But it didn't have that same, I don't know. But this summer, I think, had that. Now, moving forward, I hope that Hollywood, the theaters, the directors, actors, take this and learn from it. Hey, this was a good summer. Let's keep building on this. Only time will tell. But hopefully, with the movies coming out on the line, we got Spider-Man, we got Doomsday, we got another Avatar movie. I'm not a huge fan of the Avatar movies, but that's coming. A Batman movie at some point. All these other movies that I don't have written down, so I don't remember everything that's coming out next year or the following year. But I hope that they keep building on this. Keep giving us movies that make the people actually want to go to the theaters again. That environment of being around strangers and all rooting for the same thing, almost kind of like sports, but not really. All there wanting to enjoy this thing that so many people created. And as long as we focus on making good stuff and nurturing that environment of what the theaters used to be, then I think we could really be going places. But of course, it's up to Hollywood. It's up to Sony or Netflix or anyone who's making movies to just hopefully keep learning from this good summer and keep moving forward. Yeah, keep moving forward. Because I have fun doing this. And when they make good movies, or even bad movies, which I'll talk about and bash on, then I get to make videos on this and talk about it. And yeah, I enjoy doing that. And I know a lot of people enjoy it just as much. It may not be talking about it on YouTube, but talking about it with your group of friends, with your bros, with your gals, with your brother and sister, and theorizing movies and getting hyped to go to the movies again. Yeah, overall, the summer of 2025 when it comes to movies, I felt was fantastic. God, I gotta stop making that joke. But it truly was, I think. And you may not agree with me fully, or maybe you do. And I think there's a lot of other people who may agree. It was a good time. So yeah, just since I was reflecting on it a little bit, and I just wanted to talk about it and how awesome of a summer we had. That being said, the comments are open. What was your favorite movie of the summer? Did you think that the lineup was as good as I thought? Did you find yourself going to the movie theaters this summer more so than the past couple of years? Anything you want to talk about, any movie, any point that I made that you kind of have an opinion on, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I do want to see what you guys have to say about this summer, about this lineup of movies, about how you felt about it, and if you had as much fun as I did. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this far into the video, and if you have, consider subscribing. I love talking about movies. I have a great time doing this, like I said, and any kind of support that I get really means a lot to me. It does. And it's great because you guys give me ideas on stuff to do. So if you do like what you saw here today, just please consider either a like or subscribing. Anything helps me at this point. Yeah. That's all I have to say. I'll leave you guys with that. I'm hopeful for the future of movies. Let's see where it takes us. Alright, that was kind of cringe, but I'll let you guys get on with your day. Okay, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye. Scram!